Hey, Israel Shalom, Messiah Praise Bliss. So I wanted to do a recording regarding some animation. Um, I'm not a professional, but whatever I know, I learn. I try to bring that skill and add it to what I'm saying, whatever I can do. So right now, I'm drawing. We're gonna do just a bouncing ball animation. It ain't gonna be the typical bounce ball animation, kind of 6, 7 frame, just bounce rotation. It's kind of gonna be a bounce ball and a little action in that. So right now I'm drawing on layers. You can do this on any program. I'm working on Sketchbook Pro. So as I draw one circle, what I want to do, all animation is you tricking the eyes or mind to believe your drawings are actually moving. So as you see what I'm doing now, I'm on different layers. It's my third layer I'm working on. I'm drawing a ball, changing in shapes. As you can see, this one I'm kind of distorting it, stretching it as though it has weight at the bottom. I'm trying to give that illusion as though it got, it's a heavy shape. So as you can see, I'm really stretching this. I'm like, because I want a lot of motion in it. And you'll know this will play a pivotal point on animations that you do. But right now we're working on just a bouncing ball. I'm changing the layers, adding more so we can be able to extend the animation. The more pictures you have, the longer the animation. So typically, whenever I do something, the more frames or more pictures you draw of one scene, the more fluid it looks, right? Sometimes it can be a real stiff drawing, real stiff animation, and um, that's only because there's not enough pictures or frames that you are using. But in this case, we could do it a whole lot more smoother, but for time's sake, we want to go ahead and just sketch these out like they are. So right now, as you can tell from the frames before, what I'm doing, I'm working a little fast here. I'm just having that ball bounce, and I'm distorting the shape of it. As flat as it get on the ground, I'm widening it out back up to the original, almost the original position. Um, Almost the original position of what it was. I'm gonna play it in a minute just to see how it looked. Now, regarding animation, whenever you want to make objects move, so you want to draw ahead of the previous object you had before. As you can tell now, um, you're able to see the ball bounce and it distort once it hits the imaginary ground. So your eyes think there's an actual ground there. That's all animation is. It's just tricking the viewer to believe something is moving when it's actually not. You're just drawing a page and you're just extending that movement. So right now, I think, okay, so we're going to add more action to it. So since it's just a bouncing ball, that's a traditional beginner animation. But now we want to kind of add a little action to it. So I want to go kind of around the world type of thing, around the screen, off the camera. So we're going to kind of distort this ball a little bit more. Because if you play anything in slow motion, like a water balloon or something that's, let's say, a boxer that's punching a punching bag, whenever that punching bag is hit, you look at it in slow motion, there's a distortion of the entire object. We want this to appear as though it's being hit by something. And I got a little pop, uh, you know, design right there. It's not much, but so we just adding, right? We're adding new scenes, and that's all that we want to do. We want to add scenes or add pictures that appears as moving. So what I'm doing is that the screen you see, or the reason why you see drawings before, that's called a layer skin. I'm sorry, it's just moving too fast for me to even try to do anything. That's a layer, onion skin rather. so I can see behind the drawing behind it. That way you can tell how well the animation is moving. You can flip between the two pictures. I wasn't doing that, but uh, we'll do. I'll explain more in different videos. But here we are moving the ball like we're stretching this image out. I mean, I'm really stretching this image out, trying to clean it up because I want that ball to look like it just got slung out of a cannon, right? And the best way to do those is kind of a blur artwork, and I want it to go off the screen so you see from one area where it's kind of stretched in the middle, look like a tic tac. Now it's all the way on the other side in the form of half a circle. This next screen, I'm not really going to put anything because I want it to disappear from the camera, and I'm going to fix that. Yeah, I want it to disappear. So eventually what I'm going to do, you're going to see each image, each page is just another drawing to appear as though I want it to move. The main thing you want to do is in animation is movement. That's all it is. Depending on where you're putting your the objects that you want, that's how the animation is going to move. All right, so I'm just adding layers, and all layers are sheets of paper. Just think of it as a sheet of paper. Now here I kind of want a movement, kind of a loop curve kind of thing I was going for. I may eventually change it, but yeah, that's basically all we're doing. We're just stretching this ball that was actually a circle at first, or a sphere. And whenever there are strong movements, I normally stretch these images out. Like it could be a punch, it could be a kick. You know, somebody can throw something to give that appearance as though it's like really, they're really using some type of force. So again, what I'm doing now is trying to get it back to the almost where the original ball was. And yes, it did change shapes. It got smaller, but and this is called a loop draw animation, where you can play it and it continues to come back. The reason why, because the last drawing has to come back to the original position almost. You see that? So that gives it a kind of a loop. It gives it a loop. So long as, in order for a loop to work properly, the first drawing and last drawing have to either match identical or come to a point where they are so close you can barely tell the difference. That's how you get a proper loop animation. So let's see, and yeah, that's typically it. Right now, I'm just adding and cleaning things up. Um, so I'm gonna let it play a little bit. Normally, what you want to do when regarding animation, don't go too far above your strength. Whatever looks good and clean, that's fine. You know, then you can start learning, you know, and adding, different techniques to your animation. Some animations take longer than others. It's just a tedious. It's just very tedious. But you got to know how things look in different positions. That's what you want to do. Know how things look. So right now, I think I'm going to add another element or another. Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. Another element going into another object, because it's cool, got the little loop, but I want to add something a little different to it to help it out. Now, normally whenever I add an object in that doesn't move, I'll put it on the background layer. To the right, you'll see the layers. It says foreground, midground, and background. So that's what I'm drawing on right now, the background layer. Because whatever's on the bottom layer, it's not, it's depending on how you want it, it's named background layer for me. But I don't want it to move. I want it to stay right there. I want it to be stationary. So I'm drawing this kind of pole type of thing that's gonna have what you call it, spring, a kind of a standstill slingshot, but it's gonna be kind of a spring. So what I'm doing is drawing the base of it, and that's on the background. So I'm finished with that. That's on another layer. The second layer is a midground. I don't want to touch the first layer, so I put it on a different layer. You can put it on the same layer if you like, but I choose to just work a little bit safer. So right now I'm drawing the top of the spring. I'm trying to, at this point, trying to animate it the same way I did the ball. I'm just moving the next picture. The closer it is to the original, kind of like physically close, I have it right here, the smoother the animation is. Now, as you see, I'm moving further and further away. As you can tell here, the artwork. I'm drawing further and further from the previous page. That means it's going to move a little bit faster. So the closer you are, see how I do here? I'm kind of like, I want it to go a little slower. The closer you are to the original page or original image, the smoother the animation is going to be. Not much space in between. So that's what we're looking for. So as the ball goes up, I want uh, I don't know what it's called. I want it to move. Got to make sure we're doing it right. So I'm just stretching that spring, just like we did the ball. I'm really kind of stretching it to give that appearance as though it's moving very fast. It's no different than the ball than what we did previously. So as the ball come up, I have to time it right. So see here, I'm stretching it because the impact is here. So I got to figure out how I want the impact. So if it already hit, I want the kind of give it a little, you know, wobbly look to it. And after it hits, I want it to kind of settle back to the original place. All I'm doing is making sure that the ball animation and the spring animation is close together. So I'm getting it back to, and what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to copy the spring the way it is. That way, because it stopped, that's the end. And I'm just copying it to each layer. As you can tell, the ball comes back around, and I'm just copying it. Remember, the last frame matches closer to the original. That's a good loop. As you can tell here, I'm just playing it so you can be able to see it. There is an issue that I'm gonna let you know. Whenever you have something done like this, you want to fix um, your animation. You may look at it and at this point you're like, hey, you know what, this is pretty good. This is beginner. You know, what we did here, we stretched all the material, everything we could. So now what I wanted to do is kind of clean up the animation. Uh, you know, this is some ways you can do. And again, this is just the first tutorial to show you um, what animation is about. And again, you can pause in between so you can be able to um, see exactly what's going on. Next video we do, we're going to do a little bit more step by step. So right now I want to fix the animation, okay? Um, and I don't like the way the ball kind of returns. So we want to put it kind of on a more of a linear return. None of that loopy kind of stuff. So we're gonna fix that. Most of the time you animate, you think you're doing something right, but you don't. You gotta clean it up and fix it, and it's no problem. So what I'm doing right now is kind of trying to put it on that horizontal plane to have it to return back where it previously was. And right now I'm just checking, and you see how way off that one is. It's like it's real. It's bad. So we're still gonna stretch it a bit. Oh no, I didn't stretch it this time. I had the ball to return back to the normal shape. All right, so we're almost done with the way the animation is. And see how I'm on a horizontal line? I want it to return back to where it used to be. So let's take a look at it. You see that? See how I kind of stay on that horizontal line close? That's a nice loop. Simple, easy, beginners. When you're able to do those loops and those, um, the way those images stretch, it'll help you out with different things you want to learn how to do. This last step, what I was going to do is just do a little coloring to distinguish the elements in the animation. So that's all I'm doing right now. So as you can tell, you're able to see the ball in this animation with the sketches that I have, because I have the onion skin. Now, onion skin is very beneficial because you can be able to see the drawing before and the drawing after. So I'm kind of that's something we'll go into on the next video. In between animation, uh, doing in betweens is going to really help you smooth out animations. So that'll be the next video. But right here, I'm just coloring to give a difference with the ball, and I'm on that the ball's layer. So we just simple, basic, flat colors, uh, nothing spectacular or anything. So regarding this, we do want to make sure, regarding animation, rather, coloring. Um, the reason why it's so difficult because you would need to color and ink. Once you pencil everything out, you go in with the clean line work each drawing. That's why it's so important for teamwork. You got somebody. You normally in animation you have a keyframe animator. The keyframe animator gives the main uh, frames for whatever particular scene it is, and then you have the in-between animators. The in-between animators go in and uh, add in frames to smooth the motions out. And we'll go through that again on the next video. And you have the animators who go in and do the line work. So that way the keyframe animator and in between, normally if you have a big enough team, you can be able to do that. The keyframe animator and the in-betweeners don't have to worry about that. You have the people that do the line work, and you have people that do the coloring. Or you can split it depending on how you want to do it. So that's typically the way it goes, and it kind of goes down that nice line, rather. So I forgot what they call it. It's assembly line. Yeah, go through an assembly line to get to a finished product. So again, go over it again. The keyframe animator is the one that does the main frames, and the in between goes in between the animations for the previous the keyframe animator and cleans it up to where it looks a little more smoother, and that's how you're able to uh, that's how the animation is able to fit, or well, it's not too much work on another artist. So that's very important when it comes down to animation, because it's not just one drawing that you're doing. It's multiple drawings on top of multiple drawings to give visuals, and that's how a lot of animation is done. Unless you're 3D animator, when you put the skeletons in, you can have it move. You never have to draw again. But again, we'll do some basic movement animations. Right now, I'm just finishing up the coloring process. Um, to give a little visuals for the eyes. I don't want to see just pencil animation go around. So and I'm just playing it just to see how it looks. As you can tell, the color of the ball, the blue uh, stringy ball, I wanted to add in that stretch with the coloring too. I could have did it better, but you get the gist of it. It's normally those you're just stretching the element. You're stretching those the elements that you have inside your animation. So that's all that I'm doing. Just so regarding animation, it's um, you're drawing movement between drawings, and you are moving those pictures that you have. It's just pictures that are moving in you know almost realistic way, so it's believable. And by this animation, the viewer is able to believe that that ball is bouncing, hitting the ground, and that spring is hitting it around the world. And it's only 24 images that I drew. So 24 pictures that I drew, and with that, I'm gonna say shalom and let you enjoy. I'm saying Christ bless.